Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Kai checking in with another video. And today we got disturbing cases of real killer Santas. If y'all don't know, this is uploaded by Mr. Nightmare. I've been watching Mr. Nightmare for years, bro. Like, am I weird that I kind of like go to sleep watching his videos? Like, I watch his videos at night and like I go to sleep watching his videos. Like I be sleep and his video still be on. Like is that weird? I don't know. But we got this video right here. Let's go on and get into it.
There are countless Christmas horror movies focused on killer Santas. But maybe not so surprisingly, there have been some real-life killer Santas out there. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about the disturbing stories of a couple of them. Just a heads up, this video may not be holly jolly, and there are some darker themes. Joseph and Alice Ortega loved Christmas. It was their favorite time of year to spend with their family. Their two oldest sons, James and Charles, and their daughters Letitia, Alicia, and Sylvia. On Christmas Eve of 2008, the Ortega family invited all 5 of their adult children and their families to their home in Covina, California, the middle to upper middle class, low crime.
How does that? Before I'm listening to him, but y'all that live in like the hotter states where it don't snow, how do y'all Christmas look? Like, is it? Cause I just like put my Christmas tree up. Well, I have a Christmas tree up, but I just put lights on my Christmas tree and stuff like that. But how does y'all look? Like, do y'all put lights up and Christmas tree? Like, y'all don't get snow, so it's like, how does that really look? I live in the East Coast, so it's like I've been seeing snow my whole life. So for y'all that don't see snow, it's like, yeah.
Community about 20 miles east of Los Angeles. The family was in the middle of a Christmas Eve poker game when the doorbell rang, and what unfolded next was unimaginable. Shortly after the doorbell sounded, police received 911 calls from the Ortega's neighbor. The caller cried into the phone that someone was burning down the Ortega's house. That someone was Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, dressed in a Santa Claus suit. The fire department was dispatched to the Ortega house, but the calls kept coming in. Some even reported that they heard shooting coming from the house, and when the police arrived at the scene, it was a total nightmare. The only surviving Ortega family members police could locate was Letitia, her husband, and their 8-year-old daughter, who managed to escape the house and make it to a neighbor's house.
Immediately. Who's in your house? Immediately. Ma'am, is the guy in your house right now? We're having 2 houses down on the Google site. Okay. Ma'am, hold on. Is he at your house? Yes, he's got the shooting. What do you think his name is, Bruce? His name is Bruce Pardo. Okay, and who is he to you guys? Excuse me? Who is he to you? He's my ex-brother-in-law. They're going through this right now. Okay. With my sister. Hold on 1 second, okay? I don't know who else is surviving. I know, ma'am. Just stay on the phone with me, okay? My whole family, there's 30 people, 25 people. I know. It's okay. The officers are there. They're trying to get to you guys, okay?
Letitia's daughter, however, had been shot, so the family had already made their way to the hospital. What happened was Sylvia Ortega Pardo, Bruce Pardo's soon-to-be ex-wife, had finalized their divorce the week prior to the attack. This apparently caused Bruce to snap in the worst way imaginable, and this was his way of getting revenge.
I can't tell you how many times Arcade has come in clutch for me. Arcade is this crazy...
It's not worth it, bro. 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 It's not worth killing your family. Like, that's still your family. Even though y'all got a divorce, that's still your family. And if you care so much, y'all should have worked that out, man. Like, sometimes things could be fixed if y'all both put in the effort. I don't know what happened, but damn, they killed everybody, bro. And they said only 3 was alive.
Had arrived at the Ortega home in a Santa costume with a gift-wrapped package containing a rolling air compressor converted to deliver gasoline from it and at least 4 9mm semi-automatic handguns. His 8-year-old niece Katrina, the daughter of Letitia, ran to answer the door in excitement to be greeted with the Santa, only to be shot in the face. Luckily, she survived. Bruce then started firing indiscriminately at fleeing partygoers. After he ran out of bullets, Bruce pulled out his homemade flamethrower to spray 18 gallons of gasoline into the house, causing it to burn down. In the middle of investigating the aftermath of this chaotic scene, police received a tip from a neighbor. She and her husband had seen a car leaving the cul-de-sac at around 11:45 p.m. Police started searching the Ortega's scorched home. They found bodies burned beyond recognition, which were later identified as missing Ortega family members. A total of 9 people were murdered. While police were busy investigating this massacre, they received a call from Bruce's brother, Brad Pardo, who returned home from a Christmas party to find his brother laying dead in a pool of blood. Bruce had taken his own life. On Christmas Day, police interviewed Letitia, who said that despite the Santa Claus costume, beard, and hat, she could identify the shooter to be her sister's ex-husband, Bruce Pardo.
Bruh. And I know people say this all, bruh. A lot of people really be cowards, bro. Cowards, bro. Y'all want to harm innocent people. Why y'all just don't do that with somebody that want to smoke? Then you take your own life. You go wherever you go. Home, wherever. You by yourself. And you take your own life? Y'all people be cowards, bruh. Why, if you gonna do that, like if you just was on some like, fuck it, like I just want to be rebellious, like why don't you just go at it with the police? Somebody that wants smoke, like go at it with somebody that wants smoke. Somebody that could retaliate the way that you want them to. If you don't care about your life, or just pull a gun out and just say, man, no, like just act crazy so niggas could just shoot you. Like, oh, I don't like shit like this, bro, because y'all niggas be doing some weird shit. Like, bro, just because you want some goofy stuff, don't ruin it for everybody else.
Investigators then went back to Brad's house, where Bruce was found dead, and searched his car, which ended up being the same car the Ortega's neighbors had described seeing on their street after the murders. Inside the vehicle, police found a Santa suit and thousands of rounds of ammunition. The car had also been booby-trapped to explode once the Santa suit was removed, and though the vehicle exploded, no one was injured. The autopsy of Bruce revealed third-degree burns on his hands and arms, and part of the Santa suit had melted onto his body. Police also found $17,000 in cash cling-wrapped on his legs inside a girdle. Police believed he didn't initially plan to kill himself. Around the same time, a man reported a suspicious car parked in front of his Pasadena home. Police ran the plates and found the car had been rented by Bruce. Though the car wasn't rigged, it was packed with supplies including a computer, clothes, water, food, and maps of the US and Mexico. Police believe Bruce had been planning on escaping to Mexico after his killing spree, and this was his getaway vehicle. The vehicle was also parked about 500 feet from the house of Scott Nord, Sylvia's divorce attorney. This was definitely not a coincidence, and Bruce was likely planning on also murdering Scott, because in June of that year, Bruce was ordered to pay $1,800 a month in spousal support. The divorce clearly took over Bruce's life, and he began to plot ways to get back at Sylvia, and instead of just killing her, he decided that he was going to destroy everything and everyone that she loved.
It's not that
The most likely explanation
deep,
for Bruce's suicide would be his unexpected injuries. He didn't realize there was an open flame somewhere in the house, likely a candle, and when he was spraying gasoline, this led to an explosion that left him horrifically burned. Instead of driving to kill Sylvia's attorney and then escaping to Mexico like he most likely originally planned, Bruce instead went to his brother's, where he killed himself because of how badly he was burned. Katrina Yusufpolsky is alive and well today, and fortunately she hasn't let the horrific experience overtake her, and she's currently living her life to the fullest. But unfortunately,
that's tough. Just having that thought on your mind, like, bruh, none of my relatives ain't here no more.
Bruce Pardo was not the only story of a killer Santa named Bruce. Bruce MacArthur was known as an outwardly jovial man who was the perfect Santa due to his ample white hair and beard, and so that's what he did as his second job. He was a Santa at Toronto's Agincourt Mall until as recently as 2016. Bruce was at the time 68 years old, And when he wasn't working as a mall Santa, he was working as a successful landscaper, trusted by his many clients to turn their yards into lush gardens. The sick thing is, Bruce's jolly personality he conveyed was just a front. The parents happily watching their kids on his knee, and his clients admiring their new lawns had no idea what Bruce actually was: a necrophile and a serial killer.
The performance was enchanting, completely captivating on so many different levels.
Little did one of his clients know, he was turning their lush new garden into a graveyard. Between September 2010 and June 2017, Bruce murdered at least 8 men. His targets were usually vulnerable, having been
8 men. These are all motherfucking Eastern men.
poor, lonely, or new immigrants. All of Bruce's victims had arrived to what they thought was a safe country to explore their sexuality. Bruce's seemingly welcoming and friendly nature led his victims to thinking he was a friend and to trusting him. Then he would kill them. Bruce was described by colleagues and coworkers to be a great guy who always had a smile on his face. For 30 years, he was seemingly happily married to his wife Janice, who he had 2 children with and lived in a house in Oshawa with, a middle-class town very close to downtown Toronto. In the late 90s, however, Bruce came out of the closet, probably to the shock of his wife, and not long after suggesting that the two have an open relationship, he left his family and moved to Toronto. But he...
Bruh. That's also another messed up thing. For y'all guys, bro, or for females, if you know that you're not straight, don't lead nobody on, bruh. Don't lead nobody on, because that's gonna do, man, that person will kill you, bro. You leading them on, that will trigger them to kill you. Like, bro, what the 30 years? 30 years, and now all of a sudden you want to say, I'm gay? We got a family. We got kids. You know what? 30 years, bro? Bro. Oh my God, bro. Y'all don't understand how valuable time is, bro. That's one thing you cannot get back. It's no redos in life. It's no time you can get back, bro. That shit. Oh man.
He remained on speaking terms with his family. Bruce...
And then so wait. Dude was grabbing immigrants who was gay, probably having his way with them, and then killing them. Yeah, dude is a sick guy. Like, so you gay.
Became a regular in gay neighborhoods and wanted to be part of the LGBT community. But pretty soon that community didn't want him to be a part of it, as he quickly earned himself a reputation of being trouble. In 2003, when in his late 50s, Bruce received his first criminal conviction for the assault of a man with an iron pipe in the man's home 2 years prior. Bruce turned himself into the police, and throughout the case, he maintained that he blacked out before the assault and didn't know why he did it.
Which they all say.
In January of 2003, Bruce pleaded guilty to 1 count of assault causing bodily harm and assault with a weapon. But thanks to his lawyers, Bruce didn't serve prison time. Rather, he was ordered to attend counseling for anger management and provide a DNA sample to police. A few months later, Bruce had his record suspended, so nobody would ever know that he'd been arrested at all. Bruce's landscaping business was busy enough to occasionally hire casuals, until one of those hires disappeared, Mahid Kayhan. Bruce admitted to police to knowing Mahid. He told police that Mahid had worked for him doing landscaping for a month, and the 2 men had a sexual relationship that Bruce claimed he broke off. Bruce was not a suspect at the time of the interview. He was treated as a witness in the missing persons cases. Bruce's approach to murder was usually the same: strangulation using a rope and metal bar. When his victims were dead, he'd pose their bodies and photograph them, sometimes in his apartment and sometimes in his red Dodge Caravan. One victim was posed wearing a fur coat and with a cigar in his mouth. Some had their beards and heads shaved, others had their eyes closed. Then he would take close-up photos of their genitalia. Bruce stored these dead body photo shoots in digital files on his computer. He then dismembered his victims, distributing their body parts in one client's garden, putting to use his knowledge and skill in gardening. In June of 2016, Bruce ended up in a police station after a guy he was having sexual relations with reported him for almost choking him to death while they were in the back of his van. The man managed to escape and report Bruce to the police. And for the second time, Bruce turned himself into the police.
Wait, bestie, don't press that skip button. Are you ready to earn your psychology degree?
Trying to make out once in a while. All of a sudden, he grabbed me by the throat, threw me on behind my back. Grabbed me by the throat.
Man, y'all doing this with an older guy?
The man who reported Bruce claimed they were hooking up in the back of his van when Bruce started choking him violently. The man claimed he barely managed to escape. But when Bruce was being questioned by police, he played it off that he was asked by the man to choke him, that he liked it rough.
And right now, you're under arrest. You were placed under arrest this evening for the offense of assault, okay? You've been brought here at 232 Division for the purposes of being investigated.
Look at this. Y'all hitting this, or he hitting y'all?
For that offense, okay? So,
well, they say beauty is in the beholder, man. I beholder, so I can't say anything.
Exactly what that allegation
I'm not an old nigga like this,
The
bro.
allegations are that around 6:30 p.m. this evening, you met up with
My grandpa.
a gentleman by the name of, at the intersection of Bathurst and Finch. During the course of your involvement with him, there was an allegation made of an assault, which in choking was the allegation made, and that's basically why you're under arrest today for that assault.
Okay. So, sir, if you would like to provide...
Didn't they say that this nigga had to do like anger management or something?
We talked about going for dinner, and he said he needed to take a shower, so I said I'd meet him at the Tim Hortons at Finch and Bathurst. And so he arrived, and we were going to have sex, and he suggested do it in the back of his truck since it hadn't been used yet. It was a brand new truck. I said, well, there's more room in the back of my van. So we went to my van. So then I thought, okay, he likes it rough. So I put my hand to his throat, and just for a few seconds, because before that he's very strong, he just completely turned around and grabbed me by the throat. He said, now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to you. And he had me by the throat to the point that I couldn't breathe. So I put my hands like up in the air, like surrender, because I couldn't talk. And that's when he finally let go. And then he jumped out of the car. He said, I don't want to see you again.
Has anything like this ever happened before where things got out of hand?
Not like that. No, not that quickly, or not just like that.
Okay. Things have never gotten violent?
No.
Okay.
I thought he liked it rough.
The police believed Bruce's story and the case was dropped.
Older white guy. It just don't make sense, bro. It just don't make sense. Maybe because dude was a Middle Eastern guy a white guy talking to other white people. Yeah, he gotta be right. That's, bro, what the fuck?
On June 26th, 2017, Andrew Kinsman disappeared.
Bruh, wait a minute. He choking all these men. What was he doing to his wife? If you got that much aggression built up in you, bro, like you just choking motherfuckers out, bro, like what you was doing to your wife? You ain't even like her. You wasn't even fully comfortable with her.
And this was the start of Bruce's downfall. Andrew was different from Bruce's other victims. Andrew was well known and liked among Toronto's church and gay community, and he was the caretaker of his apartment building in Cabbagetown. His disappearance following Toronto's Gay Pride Parade was quickly noticed, and within days, posters of his face were seen all over town. Andrew had become the latest addition to the disturbing disappearances of gay men that had been plaguing the community for years. Andrew's friends and colleagues knew he was interested in true crime and serial killers. A colleague noted that he had an occasional hookup with a man very into the psychology of serial killers and how they functioned. When police searched Andrew's apartment, they found computer files on the serial killer and necrophile Dennis Nilsen, otherwise known as the Kindly Killer. Dennis Nilsen's methods of murder were eerily similar to those of Bruce. They also found a documentary on U.S. serial killer John Wayne Gacy and 10 pictures of Bruce taken on September 11, 2010, using Andrew's camera. The name Bruce was also scribbled on Andrew's calendar, eerily coincidentally for the day he disappeared. It's possible Andrew suspected Bruce was a killer and was doing his own investigation. Police discovered CCTV footage showing Andrew getting into Bruce's red 2004 Dodge Caravan. They finally had a suspect. In September of 2017, while Bruce was under surveillance, police took a coffee cup he discarded in the trash to obtain a sample of his DNA. 2 months later, Bruce dumped his caravan at a scrapyard, which was seized by the police and forensically examined. They found blood and semen connecting multiple victims to Bruce, including Andrew Kinsman and another victim, Salim Essen. This evidence allowed police to obtain a warrant to enter Bruce's home covertly without him being there. Forensic experts discovered photographs of Andrew and Salim on his computer, taken after both men were dead. The timing of this discovery was impeccable, because Bruce was likely about to commit another murder. The next day, police witnessed a younger man arrive at Bruce's apartment building in Toronto. The man was likely to be Bruce's next victim. They raided Bruce's apartment, finding the man who entered his apartment naked and handcuffed to the bed with a black bag over his head. None of this was done with his consent, and he was screaming for help. Bruce was arrested and charged with the murders of Andrew and Salim. A deeper search of his apartment revealed files on each of his 8 victims, and souvenirs from each of his crimes. They included ropes and a metal bar used in the strangulations, jewelry from multiple victims, and a notebook from Salim. They also found a file he'd already prepared for the man they'd saved, confirming that he was close to having the same fate as the other 8 known victims. Police checked 75 properties that Bruce had worked on, and at one client's property in Leaside, they found body parts from the 8 victims in large planter boxes and an adjacent ravine. Karen Fraser, the homeowner, was shocked and stated that Bruce was the best friend, neighbor, relative anyone could want, a similar description many others used for him in the past. But one major question still stands: were there only 8 victims? Bruce entered a guilty plea early in court proceedings, but showed no sign of remorse. He was given a life sentence on each murder charge.
Damn.
Between 1975 and 1978, 14 men from Toronto's gay community were murdered. The method of killings varied, including beating, strangulation, and stabbing. Police solved around half of the cases, but the rest remained cold cases. It seemed likely that Bruce was somehow linked to these other murders. For a seemingly jolly mall Santa to be capable of such atrocities makes you realize you never really know what kind of person somebody actually can be behind closed doors.
Real weirdo. Hey, dude, young. Dude is weird, bruh. I don't understand why people just can't be comfortable with their own skin. Like, I understand he was 60, so that means he grew up when, like, you know, being gay was like looked at a certain type of way. And maybe that's why he came out 30 years later, because it was kind of comfortable. Like, he's like, oh man, I can be myself. But you killed these people You got a whole family. They gotta walk around with the shame of knowing you. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, bro. It shit don't be worth it, bro. Let me know what y'all think, man. Is this story just as weird as I thought it was, bro? Cause like this story is like weird.